Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a very successful day. Let's try to make it more successful. So today's class is going to be on streamlining open houses and building listings. We're going to figure out how to get better data and better compliance out of open house management. As is most of our calls, we're going to try to keep this short today and just show you how to use the Big Agent platform to go build an open house and generate a open house flyer to streamline your check-in system. So with that, let's jump right in. We're going to make this call for agents first and loan officer second today. So we'll be starting off with the real estate agent functionality around big open houses. So if you already have a Big Agent portal, we would ask you to go to your Big Agent landing page, which your sponsoring loan officer should have provided to you. And we're going to ask you to sign into your Big Agent portal. So I'm going to sign into my Big Agent portal. And I will go to my Big Agent dashboard. So let me share my screen. And I'm going to go to my Big Agent landing page. Here we go. I'm going to hit sign in right here in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm going to use my credentials to sign in to my Big Agent portal. Now, once I'm on my Big Agent portal, I'm going to hit the listings button. Now, my loan officer may have already created my listing for me. If so, I would see that listing listed here in my listings, or I can create a new listing for myself. If I hit add listing in the upper right-hand corner, it's going to show you our streamlined process on how to create a listing into the system. So I'll add my address, zip code, state, sales price of my listing, the MLS number, description of my listing, the active date of my listing, the expiration date of my listing, the open house date of my listing, and I will attach any photos of my listing. I can also put any disclosures. So let's say seller disclosures, floor plans, anything I would really need, I would want to disclose to somebody. So I'll hit my documents here and I'll put up a MLS description or MLS flyer and a real estate report card. But any PDF or image could be attached here. And I'll hit save. And just like that, it will create that listing for me. See, I got the little green listing created in the upper right-hand corner. Now I'll go over to my listings and I'll see that new listing has popped in. I will click on the listing and it brings me to what's called the listing card. Brings me to what's called the listing card. And this listing card has a whole bunch of features to it. It's very, very cool. One, it generates a non-public URL. I'm going to click on this URL. See it right here? And it also gives me a QR code to that URL. When I click that, it will show me the listing card. This is the public-facing listing card, and we're going to show you how this kind of works in real time here. But this is what it generates when you created the listing with all the pictures of the listing and the documents attached to the listing. We've done all of this in a couple of minutes here, so it's very easy. It's very streamlined. Going back over to my agent portal, what it also does is give me a QR code. So what can I use this QR code for? This is great for like marketing. If you have a postcard that you want to generate, like a just listed card, put this QR code right on that postcard. And anybody that scans that QR code can go and get directed to that public listing card where it has all of the information for that listing, where they can download and interact with that listing. But for today, we're going to be looking at open houses. So how does the open house system work? Well, when I created that listing, if I look over here at my documents, see right here, I can see I have an open house flyer, So I'm going to hit my open house flyer. It's going to download. Here's the download of the open house flyer. I'm going to click that and I can see that what has been generated is my QR code open house flyer check-in. So this is really, really cool what you can do with it. I'm going to ask you to interact. So Al, you're going to be the person interacting with me today. Please take out your cell phone, Al, and I want you to check in for the open house. So what we would do with this open house flyer is we put it right on the front door of the open house. We'd say, hey, welcome to the open house. Please check in to enter.
Gotcha.
All right, Al. So check in for me. And while Al is doing that, I will do a web-facing demo of the check-in process. So this is what Al's going to be doing on his phone, is he's going to be checking into that open house. And he would be met with an experience like this. Please check in. Okay, I'm going to first name, last name. I'll put my phone number in, my email address. My time frame of buying, my ideal price range, if I currently own a home, if I'm currently pre-approved.
And I'm done.
Oh, you beat me, Al. Whether I want the property information details, it'll give me a TCPA opt-in and a open house enter this home consent disclosure, and I'm done as well. So what's happened now? What happened if somebody checked into the open house? Well, on my back-end agent portal, if I hit the open house check-ins tab, I can go see that here's my check-in and here's Al's check-in. I see the date they checked in, whether they're working with an agent, whether they're pre-approved, and I can click on this open house check-in and it shows me all that data. And I can even backfill that data. So if I use like a tablet at the open house, I can see who checks in, I can hit their name, and then while I'm walking them around the open house, I can backfill a whole bunch of information. I can ask them these extra questions and save that data while I'm touring the open house with the customer, save all the questions that I'm asking them. And then after the open house is done, I can go over to my dashboard. I can hit my leads and I can hit export. See this little button here? I can hit download and I can download an Excel report right here of all my open house check-ins and my leads, and it would put it into a nicely formatted Excel sheet with all the data of the leads from that open house. Now, let's talk about a couple other things that the system did. When the customer checked into the open house, since we got that TCPA, that Telephone Communication Protection Act opt-in, it'll actually text message the customer thanking them for attending the open house. And if the customer asks the question of, do you want the property information sheet? That's one of the check-in questions. If they answered yes to that, what would happen is the customer would get a text message of the public URL. They would get this text message of this URL and say, here's all the property information. Customer would click on that text message and say, great, thanks for the open house information sheet. And they would have all of the pictures of the house, any of the disclosures they want to download, and of course, the listing agent and sponsoring loan officer's contact information to reach out afterwards. And that is our demo on how listing agents can go and generate a open house flyer to streamline the open house check-in process. Now, before we go and do the loan officer side and see how loan officers can do this on behalf of their agents, does anybody have any questions? Al, you have any questions? Ray, Alma, you have questions on how to build these open house flyers? Okay, no questions. That must mean that I did a really good job training the system. So now let's talk about some of the downsides to this. We got to talk about the benefits and then the downside. So the downside is an agent has to do something, right? Oh man, you guys are busy. You got a lot of stuff going on. We have to do training like this to go teach them how to add this listing. They might have to attach the pictures and stuff like that. This is where you should lean on your loan officers. So I'm going to open up the loan officer side of the system now. I'm going to show you what a loan officer can do. If you have a sponsoring loan officer for the system and your agent doesn't want to have to go in and build these listings, well, that's why you have a sponsoring loan officer. So your loan officer also has the ability to do this. The loan officer can go into their big point of sale portal and they can log in. And the loan officer has the ability to hit their listings and add a listing on behalf of a partner. So the loan officer can do all this work. They can assign it to a partner and hit save. And the loan officer can make it very easy to do this for their listing agent. They would click on the listing after they built it, and they would download the open house flyer on behalf of their listing agent. And they can email this flyer to their listing agent. And once they email the flyer to the listing agent doesn't even have to use their portal to get the leads. Every person that registers for the open house, it will email the listing agent their contact information. And it'll email the loan officer that person's information as well. What do you think, Al?
I think this is great and super fast. Like, honestly, it's really
Cool.
quick.
Yeah. Well, it's 11 minutes into the webinar and we got all the training done. So that is our training on how to do open house management. We're going to continue to do these little SnigBit trainings and these live webinars so you can learn how to use each feature of this system. And we will keep going with it. So thank you everybody for attending today. That was your streamlining open house check-ins and management with the Big Agent and Big Point of Sale.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.